to honor the incomparable Glenn Close and her incredible career. I believe my first response to her asking me to speak today was, "Oh my God, why?" Out loud, before texting her back that I would happily do so. And I promise it's probably just as confusing for me to be up here as it is for any of you watching, but I cannot stress enough how much it's nearly impossible to say no if Glenn asks you to do something. And no, it's not out of fear of her taking your puppies. It's from the knowledge that you're about to embark on the sort of singular adventure only a mostly benevolent trickster god can bestow. You've all seen it in her eyes every time you've been lucky enough to catch her on screen or stage. That glint of mischief shining out from a seemingly endless well of feeling and knowing that's practically celestial. Perhaps that's why, in her theatrical debut in The World According to Garp, she wound up playing my dad's mother, despite only being 4 years older than him. Mind you, it wasn't hard to come off as more mature than my father, but it was nearly impossible to match his impishness and intensity. Nearly impossible for mere mortals, that is. Glenn blew right past it in her first movie out of the gate and got nominated for an Academy Award for doing so, and many since. And speaking of mothers, did you know she did Dangerous Liaison 6 weeks after giving birth to the force of nature that is Annie, sitting right over there? Because up until I nervously did more research to write this speech, I sure as hell didn't. My God, Glenn, I suppose that helps explain the heaving 18th century bosoms. But I cannot imagine even thinking about a corset, let alone delivering that Herculean performance while wearing one as a new mom. Now that is a stunt Tom Cruise simply cannot do. But in any case, a lot of people think Garp is the only time Glenn and Dad shared the screen together, but a lot of people would be very wrong. Because Glenn, as she and Zeus are both wont to do, decided another transformation was in order. So she donned a big old beard and a hell of a tan, rendered herself nearly unrecognizable, and very much stole her scene as Gutless the Pirate in Hook. Screaming all the way to the boo box. But that's just who she is. If there's an unpredictable trick to be played, a wig to be worn, a delicious cackle or scream to be scrumped, Glenn will bring a character to life in a way that is anything but gutless, heartless, or spineless. So while I would never go so far as to call you my cinema grandmother, Glenn, I count myself lucky to consider you a dear friend, and I'm truly honored to be one of the many here today excited to celebrate you as an icon.
That's a relief. I was going to mention